The moment you clicked on this message, something inside your spirit shifted. You may think this is just another video, another speech, another voice speaking into the noise of your life, but deep down, you feel it. There's a reason you couldn't scroll away. Because what you're about to hear could save you from the biggest trap of your entire existence. The trap of living your whole life without ever discovering who you truly are. Most people spend their entire lives chasing approval, trying to become versions of themselves that the world accepts, while slowly abandoning the person God actually created them to be. They wake up every day wearing masks, pretending to be strong while secretly feeling lost, pretending to be successful while spiritually empty inside. And the terrifying part is that many never realize it until it's too late. But God says this message found you for a reason. Heaven would not allow you to keep walking in confusion when your purpose is too important to remain hidden. There is something inside you that has been asleep for years, buried under pain, rejection, fear, and disappointment. The enemy wanted you distracted because distraction is the easiest way to keep someone from discovering their calling. That's why your life has felt like a battle lately. That pressure on your mind, that exhaustion in your spirit, those nights where you questioned your worth, they were not random attacks. The enemy fights hardest against people who carry something powerful. You were never ordinary, and deep down, you've always known it. Even as a child, there was a feeling inside you that your life was meant for more. You tried to ignore it because the world convinced you to settle for survival instead of purpose. But God is about to break that limitation off your life. The version of you that exists right now is only a small glimpse of who you are becoming. There are gifts inside you that have not fully awakened yet. There is strength inside you that pressure has been preparing. There is wisdom inside you that pain has been developing in silence. And if you stay until the end of this message, you will understand why every battle, every betrayal, every closed door, and every season of confusion had to happen exactly the way it did, because God was never punishing you. He was preparing you to finally see the truth about yourself. You have spent years doubting yourself because the world trained you to look at your weaknesses instead of your calling. From the moment you were young, people spoke limitations over your life. They told you what you could not do, who you could not become, and why your dreams were unrealistic. Slowly, without even realizing it, you started shrinking the vision God placed inside your spirit. You began measuring your worth by failures, mistakes, and disappointments instead of seeing yourself through the eyes of the one who created you. But God says the season of underestimating yourself is coming to an end. The pain you experienced was never meant to destroy you. It was designed to prepare you. Every betrayal taught you discernment. Every rejection built endurance. Every lonely season forced you to seek strength beyond human approval. And while you thought you were falling apart, heaven was actually building someone stronger, wiser, and spiritually awakened. The enemy wanted your struggles to convince you that you were forgotten, but God says your battles were proof that your purpose carries power. Ordinary people do not face extraordinary spiritual attacks. The reason your mind has been under pressure is because there is greatness inside you trying to awaken. There is a calling on your life that threatens darkness, and that is why confusion kept surrounding you. The enemy knows that the moment you discover who you truly are, everything changes. The fear breaks, the insecurity dies, the chains fall apart, and suddenly you begin walking with authority instead of doubt. God says you were not born just to survive another year, work another job, or exist without meaning. You were born to impact lives, to inspire people, to bring light into dark places, and to fulfill an assignment heaven wrote before you even entered this world. The problem is that you kept waiting for permission from people who were never qualified to define your destiny. But your identity does not come from opinions, it comes from God. And once He reveals your true purpose, nobody will be able to convince you to play small ever again. The gifts hidden inside you are too powerful to stay buried. The voice inside you is too important to remain silent. And the version of yourself you are becoming will shock everyone who only knew the broken version of you, because God is about to reveal strength in you that even you did not know existed. There is a dangerous trap many people fall into, and it destroys destinies every single day. The trap is comparison. The moment you begin comparing your journey to somebody else's success, you slowly disconnect yourself from the unique purpose God designed specifically for you. You start questioning your timing, doubting your value, and feeling like you are falling behind in life. Social media makes it even worse because every day you are watching people display victories while hiding their struggles. You see the highlights of their lives and begin attacking yourself in silence, wondering why your own journey feels slower, harder, and more painful. But God says comparison is an illusion created to distract you from your assignment. You were never created to copy another human being. Your calling is different. Your timing is different. Your process is different. The reason your path looks unusual is because your purpose requires preparation that other people may never understand. Some people are blessed quickly because their assignment is small. But when heaven has placed something powerful inside a person, the preparation becomes deeper. God has to strengthen your character before he reveals your purpose, because success without spiritual maturity can destroy a soul. That is why your delays were not punishments. They were protection. Every season where you felt overlooked was actually building strength inside you. Every closed door was redirecting you away from distractions that could have damaged your destiny. And while you were crying over what left your life, God was removing things that no longer aligned with the future he planned for you. The enemy wanted you trapped in jealousy because jealous people stop focusing on their own growth. They spend so much energy watching others that they never develop the gifts hidden inside themselves. But God says your breakthrough begins the moment you stop comparing and start trusting. Trust that your purpose still exists, even when life feels uncertain. Trust that your timing is still valuable, even when others move ahead of you. Trust that what God prepared for you cannot be stolen by another person. No one can replace your assignment because no one was created with your exact spirit, your exact experiences, your exact voice, and your exact destiny. The moment you fully understand that truth, peace enters your soul. You stop competing. You stop begging for validation. You stop feeling threatened by someone else's success because you finally realize that God never designed your life to look like theirs. He designed it to reveal something rare, powerful, and unforgettable through you. God says the version of you that people see right now is not the final version. The person struggling today is not the same person you are becoming. There is another level inside you waiting to awaken, but many of you have been hiding from it because growth can feel uncomfortable. Deep inside, you already know there is more within you. You feel it during quiet moments when your spirit whispers that your life was meant for something greater than fear, routine, and survival. But every time you tried to move forward, doubt pulled you backward. You questioned your abilities, your worth, and whether you were truly capable of carrying the purpose God placed on your life. The enemy used your past mistakes to make you believe you were disqualified. He reminded you of every failure, every embarrassing moment, every weakness, hoping you would forget that God specializes in transforming broken people into powerful testimonies. Some of the strongest people chosen by God first went through seasons where they felt weak, lost, and uncertain. That season was never proof that you were abandoned. It was proof that transformation was happening beneath the surface. Just because people cannot see your growth yet does not mean heaven is not working on you. A seed looks invisible before it breaks through the ground, but hidden growth is still growth. Right now, God is developing strength in places where you once carried fear. He is building wisdom through the pain you survived. He is teaching you discernment through betrayal. He is creating resilience through every battle that tried to break your spirit. And one day the people who underestimated you will not recognize the confidence, peace, and authority flowing through your life. Some of you are carrying leadership but hiding in insecurity. Some of you are carrying wisdom but remaining silent because you fear rejection. Some of you are called to inspire others, heal broken hearts, create something powerful, or become the answer to prayers you have never even heard. But the trap has been believing that your current condition defines your future. God says your present struggle is not your permanent identity. The pressure you feel is preparing you for elevation. The challenges are stretching your spirit for the purpose ahead. And the reason you keep surviving battles that should have destroyed you is because heaven refuses to let your destiny die. The day you finally see yourself the way God sees you is the day everything changes, because fear loses its power when a person fully understands who they were created to become. The reason this season feels different is because God is removing distractions from your life. At first, it may feel painful, confusing, and even unfair. People you trusted are becoming distant. Certain relationships no longer feel the same. Doors you expected to open suddenly closed without explanation. Plans you thought would work out completely fell apart. And in quiet moments, you may have asked yourself why everything seems to be changing at once. But God says what feels like loss is actually protection. Not everyone connected to you was connected to your destiny. Some people were attached to your comfort while secretly pulling you away from your purpose. Some environments kept you spiritually asleep because they made you settle for less than what heaven prepared for you. God knows that if certain distractions remained in your life, you would never fully discover who you are becoming. That is why this season feels uncomfortable. Growth often begins with separation. Before elevation comes isolation. Before clarity comes disruption, and before purpose is revealed, distractions must be removed. The enemy wanted you emotionally attached to things that were spiritually draining you. He wanted your attention consumed by temporary pleasures, toxic relationships, endless overthinking, and fear of change, because distracted people rarely walk boldly into their calling. But God is breaking those chains off your life. He is creating distance between you and anything that keeps your spirit weak, confused, and dependent on human validation. Some people left because they could not go where God is taking you. Some opportunities disappeared because they were too small for your assignment. Some delays happened because heaven was protecting you from paths that looked good but would have destroyed your peace later. One day you will look back and thank God for every closed door that once made you cry. Right now, you may not understand why the separation had to happen, but clarity is coming. God is teaching you how to rely on His direction instead of chasing approval from people who never understood your purpose. He is teaching you to stop settling for environments that shrink your spirit. He is teaching you to recognize your value even when others fail to see it. And most importantly, He is preparing you for a future that requires a stronger version of you. The old mindset cannot enter the new season God has prepared. The fearful version of you cannot carry the calling waiting ahead. That is why transformation is happening now. Heaven is removing distractions because your purpose is too important to stay buried beneath confusion, comfort, and temporary attachments anymore. Before this message ends, hear this carefully. You are closer to your breakthrough than you realize. The enemy wanted you distracted, insecure, exhausted, trapped in fear, and spiritually blind to your own value, because the moment you fully recognize who you are, everything around you begins to change. For years you questioned yourself in silence. You doubted your worth when prayers were unanswered. You wondered if your struggles meant God had forgotten you. There were nights when you smiled in front of people while secretly fighting battles nobody knew about. Moments when life felt so heavy that giving up almost seemed easier than continuing forward. But God says the fact that you survived those seasons is proof that His hand has been protecting you all along. You were attacked because your destiny carries weight. The enemy does not waste energy fighting empty people. He fights people who carry purpose, vision, and spiritual power capable of changing lives. That is why you have felt pressure from every direction. That is why confusion tried to enter your mind. That is why fear whispered that you would never become anything greater. But the lies are losing power now because heaven is opening your eyes to the truth. You are not who people said you were. You are not your mistakes. You are not the rejection you experienced. You are not the failure that tried to define you. God says your identity was never created by human opinions. Your identity was created by Him. And what He placed inside you is greater than every obstacle standing in your way right now. There is still purpose ahead of you. There are still lives you are meant to impact. There are doors that will open at the right time. There are blessings, opportunities, connections, and moments of transformation waiting for the version of you that finally believes again. This is not the season to quit on yourself. This is the season to awaken. Stop speaking weakness over your life. Stop calling yourself ordinary when heaven calls you chosen. Stop shrinking your dreams because of fear. The person you are becoming will look back at this painful season and realize it was the beginning of everything. God is not finished with your story. In fact, the reason your spirit feels this message so deeply is because something inside you already knows that change is coming. Your awakening has already begun, and after tonight, you will never see yourself the same way again, because God is about to reveal a level of purpose, strength, and destiny inside you that will completely transform the direction of your life. As this message comes to an end, understand this truth with all your heart. Your life is not an accident. Every battle you survived, every tear you cried in silence, every moment you felt rejected, lost, abandoned, or broken was shaping you for something far greater than you can currently see. God never created you to live trapped in fear, comparison, confusion, or self-doubt. He created you with purpose, with power, and with an assignment that only you can fulfill. The enemy tried to bury your identity beneath pain because he knew that once you discovered who you truly are, nothing would ever be able to stop you again. But tonight, the chains are breaking. Tonight, your eyes are opening. Tonight, something deep inside your spirit is awakening. You are no longer going to live as the weak version of yourself that fear created. You are stepping into the person God designed before you were even born. And yes, the journey ahead may still have challenges, but now you know the truth. The struggle was never meant to destroy you. It was preparing you. Every delay was building strength. Every closed door was protection. Every painful season was shaping the wisdom, resilience, and faith needed for your destiny. One day you will look back at this season and realize it was the turning point where your entire life began to change. So from this moment forward, stop doubting your value. Stop shrinking your dreams to fit other people's expectations. Stop calling yourself ordinary when heaven calls you chosen. Walk with confidence, knowing that God is guiding your steps even when you cannot see the full path ahead. Trust Him when life feels uncertain. Trust Him when the process feels slow. Trust Him when the world misunderstands you, because purpose often looks strange before it becomes powerful. And remember this: the real you has not fully appeared yet. There is greatness inside you waiting to rise, purpose waiting to unfold, and a future waiting to reveal why you had to survive everything you went through. This is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of your awakening. And after tonight, you will never again forget who you truly are, because God is about to reveal a destiny that will change your life forever.